Well, howdy. Let's see, that's about right. The weather outside is literally frightful, so I thought, well, I'm stuck in here anyway. I'll make a video. And what's the video about? Well, what you're looking at is a Czechoslovakian battle rifle. This is a VZ-24. Now, what is a VZ-24? Well, the story starts at the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month in 1918, when Germany signed the armistice. And they went off to Versailles, and everybody decided on what was going to be done to end World War I, and giving Germany the shaft in the whole process. Well, one of the things they decided was that Germany, especially Mauser Works, which was a company in Germany, would give up making implements of war. Well, Mauser in World War I was the maker of the Gewehr 88, the main battle rifle used by the Germans. Well, after the war, Mauser sat there and thought, we've got all of this machining for these Gewehr 88s, and it's worth a fortune, and we're out of fortune, and it's about to hit depression time, and we're up a creek without an implement of propulsion. What to do? And along comes some of the smart engineers from Brno, Czechoslovakia, and said, we'll buy it. So all of the tooling for the Gewehr 98 went down to Brno. And the Czechs made this, the VZ-24. VZ stands for Vzor and means, well, model, basically. And this is nothing more than a Gewehr 98 from World War I, slightly modernized. It's a slightly shorter barrel, but that's about it. It's the same basic action as a Gewehr 98. And after Czechoslovakia was taken over by the by the Germans in World War II, they still made these things, and they called them a V.24 in variant of the K98K, and issued them to their troops, second-line troops, but troops nonetheless. Well, Brno was never one to shirk on making a profit, and remember, this is the 1920s and 30s. Lots of things were happening. A lot of wars were happening in South America. A lot of unrest in the old Ottoman Empire in Turkey, also in the Balkans, the Eastern Slavic countries, also all over the place. Well, they sold rifles to everyone. And I don't know if you ever saw, even Mauser, when they started tooling back up again, they started selling good stuff to all kinds of people. Well, one thing they did is they made a model of this thing that was a little bit, oh, by the way, this is an 8 Mauser, just like it was in World War I. And this is what they came up with, too, the carbine version of that. This is the VZ-24 carbine. And this thing is really, really cute. It's a nice-looking rifle. I think it's just a splendid rifle. The problem is that they always used to stamp the crest of the king or country right here. Everybody did it. I mean, if you go and find a Swiss Mauser, you'll find the Swiss cross right here. I think DWM would do that for anybody. There's the Mausers that they sent off, the Lugers. I'm talking about the Lugers. The Lugers that they sent off to the U.S., they had an American Eagle right here, so they're called Eagle Lugers because of that. Well, this one, the crest on it, I don't think you can see it. I'll try, but if you look close, here's some light. If you look close, you'll see that there is the remnants of a crest here. Well, that crest doesn't look like anything I can find, except it looks like one thing I can find. It looks like the remnants of a King Carol crest. Now, what's a King Carol crest? That's the interesting part of this particular rifle. King Carol was the king of Romania before World War II. After World War II, his descendant became the prime minister of Romania. It's interesting. After the fall of Ceausescu, he came back and he ran for office and won. And I think he was well liked in the country. Anyway, I guess they like their royalty even when they're not royals. But this is King Carol's crest. And if it was a King Carol's crest in full regalia, it would be worth a lot more money. But alas, it isn't. And the other problem with it is that when the Czech Republic or Czechoslovakia made these things, if they made them for South America, they'd make them in 7.62 Argentine or whatever caliber you wanted. The King Carol ones were made in 8 Mauser, 7.92 by 57. Well, this is not 7.92 by 57, and I know that for a fact. And the reason I know that for a fact is I have a set of these. These are go, no-go gauges in 8 Mauser. Unless you're familiar with it, a go, no-go gauge, hold on a second, it's so small and I need glasses to be able to see what the heck I'm doing. Okay, this is a go gauge. I'll show you how they work. But I won't show you on this because it doesn't work on that. But on this we know is an 8 Mauser. This is an 8 Mauser go gauge. You put it in here like a shell, and well, it's supposed to come back out. Well, at least it does chamber. Well, let's try a field gauge. A field gauge, basically, as a rifle wears down, it gets worn out. And a field gauge is the last remaining, if it's stretched out any larger than this, and it won't pass headspace gauging, and therefore should be rejected. So I'll try to put that in. Well, how about that? I've tried this on my 8 Mauser, and everything works. This won't fit. That one will. Well, that tells me that this is 8 Mauser, but it's a sloppy 8 Mauser, really sloppy, and probably should be rejected. Of course, this rifle looks beat to hell, but I don't have it as a shooter. I have it as a collector. Now, watch this. This is my supposed King Carol carbine, and if I put in a go gauge, and let me make sure, yes, this is the 8 Mauser go gauge. It won't even shut. Is that field or go? That's a go gauge. And if I put in the field gauge, it shuts. It's, well, hold on just a second while I get a cleaning rod. There's one right over here. Oh, there it is. Because this thing is got stuck. Well, like I said, a King Carol carbine should be an 8 Mauser. And by my estimation, this is not working in 8 Mauser. Well, these are snap caps right here, I think in 7 Mauser or 7.62 carbine. I don't know if they're 7 Mauser or 7.62 Argentine. I picked them up in a pile of junk. The other thing I've got is a 308 field gauge. And 308 field gauge, it'll just suck it right down. Oh, how about that? That's interesting. Come on now, let's try that again. I did try this once before and didn't get the same response. Well, that tells me what I need to do is get some of that Caro-Safe stuff and do a casting of this chamber. Because what I did, besides that, is I looked at the at the bore of the thing. Because, where is it? There. I can't really get a reading on the chamber, but I figured I could on the bore. And I do on the bore, and it says 3.31 millimeters. That ain't right. It should be 7.92. Anyway, I don't know what caliber this is. The reason I tried 308 is I read that some of these carbines that Bruna made, Century Arms had imported to the U.S. and had rebored them to 308, figuring it would sell better that way. They did that also to that Moss 4956 up there. Well, I don't know what this is. It's a very pretty thing. It sure looks like a King Carol carbine. And the thing is, it also, the The serial number on this starts with BR. Now BR, that preface, was used in Czech rifles, specifically early Czech rifles, which would put it as a King Carol. So this has all the markings of King Carol, except it doesn't look like it's 8 Mauser. I don't know what it is. I'd like to find out, though. If anybody has any knowledge of King Carol Mauser carbines, VZ24 carbines, please let me know. I mean, I'm curious. This is just something that has been bugging me. I've never shot this thing because, well, I wasn't sure of the caliber. I need to get some of that. I think I've got some somewhere. Yeah, I bought some. If not, I can go to Brownells and get it. It's this metal stuff. You pour it down the bore here, and it hardens in the chamber, and then you knock it out with a cleaning rod, and it shows you what a casting of the chamber. It's a little softer than lead, sort of like Babbitt material. Anyway, this is an interesting conundrum I'm working on, and I'm working on it right now because you can't go outside and do anything with guns right now because I can't even make it to the shop because I need a boat to get there. It is so wet outside. It is so rainy. Anyway, if I don't drown, I'll see you next time.